What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing very well. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Bayou Gold Guy. Unfortunately, as you can see, we have an empty gold station this week. I'm still dealing with stuff, so we're gonna do a little reflecting. I've done some pretty bad jobs, tough jobs over the years, and this is one from about 7 years ago that I did. It's basically hauling over a half a ton of wood and concrete underneath this house, and yeah, it makes you long for a nice roomy gold mine when you're dealing in this kind of a situation. So running two 24-foot beams, working by myself, had a little weather, and yeah, so this is just a little, I thought y'all might find a little entertaining, and hopefully we'll be back to gold soon. So till the next time, thank you all for watching, and I appreciate you. All right, we're doing a little house leveling now. There's my materials for my beams. I'm already pulling crap out from underneath the house, and what we got is an addition that was put on here. And it's about, you can see through, I can't see that, but the bayou is right there 20 feet away. So what we got is underneath here is 24 feet across from side to side. Got some, they're running some new water power. So this is water pipe they're gonna tie into some kind of heater, tankless water heater. But there's our beam, the first beam there, and then beyond it, you can see there's a second beam, another 8 feet away. No, that one's actually about 5 feet away, the next one I'm going to. But it needs to be sistered one onto it, next to it, because those are my piers in the middle out there that are sinking, that have caused a 2-inch sink in the middle. And this end's dropping over here about 1.5 inches, 1.75 inches. So, more stacks of concrete. So this is about our halfway point in between here. So my beam will run this way across here, right off of that second one, split the difference, and I'm probably going to add some support in this corner over here because it's sinking hard on this corner. But I was inside, I've got keys to get inside so I can access the floor and see where my sags are inside, although a lot of times you can't really go by that. Same thing if I ran a string line out here on this one, it's really not going to show me much. I got to actually get under there and get my levels on my flooring as I go. But you can see where you can see the top of that one, where the middle one's is sunk in the middle, and that's right where the dip is. But you can also see there is a lot of frickin' plumbing on that side to snake a 6x8 beam through. So I'm probably maybe going to split that one up and not run a solid length all the way through, since that side's holding up pretty well. But the point of this one is that you've got to pack this stuff down before you put your weight on it. So I see these jack legs on, I don't mean to bash anybody on YouTube, but these guys in here under here pumping up with jacks, putting things on, and they come over and they put these balloon bags under here, inflate it, and pop your house up, and you start losing your, I can't get out. You start losing your corners and your door jams and crap cracking. So this side back in here is got a little bit of a sagged it in the middle, so that one I'm probably going to end up jacking up and just supporting right that on beam, because that's kind of where we start losing it. But it's mostly right here in the middle and over there on the corner where I'm getting a real fall. So there you have it. This is part one of what you want to do when you start leveling a house. Part two will be the hell of actually leveling it. There you go. This is the way you look when you've been spending 7 hours underneath the house in the rain. Now everything was wet and flooded the first 2 hours I was in here. Usually I don't go into the house half naked, but everything was wet and muddy, so I just decided to go with it. But my problem is now all my crawl spaces in are flooded out. So I'm calling this one today. I got one 24-footer in. My first one, my hardest one around all the plumbing. Everything's soaked now. Water standing. I don't know if I mentioned it, but that's another important thing is anytime you're doing this, you want to fucking have metal shims. A lot of different sizes. You go up to the scrap yard, you can go through and get, if they cut them for you, they're like $7 a piece. If you go through their scrap pile, you can get it for, I got 25 pieces for 40 bucks as opposed to, you know, $200 for what it would have cost them to cut what I needed for this. So it's pretty good. So I got under here, I got my, I don't know if it'll pick it up, but I've got my full beam in, my jacks, still a couple of jacks holding, but everything lined up really good. And only problem was I had to lay my beam on its side. My 4x6 is on its side because I was not going to cut out all that drain plumbing that's over there and replace it. So that would have cost them an extra $1,000. So I think they're all right with it laid over on the side. And I will be back tomorrow if it's not raining, and we'll continue this discussion then. All right, we're back on the house today. By we, I mean I, of course. But a chance of rain coming, but I should get in a little more action today, so, or a little drier action today. But I've got one more beam I'm going to try to get in and cover. I've got 20 feet of my cardboard to put down because I got to crawl all the way from the back side across over to 24 feet. Something I didn't cover yesterday is when you put these beams in, you can see there, you make your cut so you can sandwich your next beam in on top and put your screws in. I use 3.5-inch star head non-corroding screws. All these go into the floor joists that these are sitting on. So you toenail these in. A lot of people don't do that. That keeps your, especially when you're doing a 6x8, 2x6 or 2x8, you've got to make sure that the beam doesn't roll. And a lot of people don't screw them into that floor joist, which also acts like a spine and keeps it more rigid. And then again, here's my, like I said, I got a variety of metals, different thicknesses, different sizes. I've already used a bunch. But anytime you use a jack, you've got to have your jack sitting on a piece of metal like that, or else that jack will go in and punch a hole halfway into these beams. I've seen entire beams that I had to change because they tried jacking them up and they kept punching holes in them because they don't use metal, and it destroyed the beam and actually broke it from trying to fix it. So I've replaced those. So it's real important to keep that up. So I've already been down and looked, and none of my jacks have fallen, or none of my elevations fallen since yesterday. So I'm going to put a couple more pumps on it and pull those jacks and move them to the back and start on my second long run beam. So, but I just wanted to cover that, a few details on when you're doing this stuff with materials. And like I said, I had my ground packed down pretty good with compression before I put my beams up. I jacked it up on the pad itself, then set my cinder block. Always use your between your cinder block and your beams. If you've got a gap, you want to shim with cedar because the termites won't get that, and you want to shim with treated plywood. Treated 2x. All things to keep termite out. You don't want to leave any wood, any kind of wood, or any kind of debris under your house from it, because also that will attract termites and bring them in. And also, this is a great tool to have right here. It's a World War II shovel, but you can lock it in a position like that so that you can dig underneath the house without having a big shovel, and it's good for picking at stuff. So, like I said, this was actually a pretty good, solid ground on this house. So, there you go, and we'll see how the day goes. All right, we're under here. I'm pulling my jacks. This is where my beam went through the plumbing on this side, which actually is harder than what I thought was going to be the bad plumbing over there. That's where I'm heading, is on that second beam over there. Now I've got my stuff laid out. One of my beams over here, that end is going to go thread through that plumbing over there. And these are my jacks here, where I left them carrying weight, but there's still there's just a little bit of support on my pads. I'm about to pull these because I pumped them, and
it raised straight up on the first pump, so I'm not getting any more compression, and I am dead on level across my floors here. So this one's good. I'm gonna move over to the next one, and but yeah, this is a 12-foot span between. Actually, it's yeah, I think it's 12. It's either 12 or 15, but too much distance for an addition. Whenever you got a bayou there, where it's gonna be wanting to sink to the ground. So, but that was just it to show my jack setup here. What's left from yesterday, and that's it. This is the tough part on doing under a house. I'm hearing all this plumbing. I've got no way to get on this side, so I got to crawl underneath my new beams that I just put in the existing beam here, or push it all the way down from that side 24 feet over and try to get over these pipes. So I only got one option. Snake through here. I got my big block in. Wrestling that 80-pound bitch back here was not easy. Now I got to go back out and get a center block in here, pump this up, and work the rest of the way down. But yeah, that's why these jobs cost thousands of dollars, because there's nothing easy about any of it. I'm about halfway there, and this is how I got my center block sitting on my hold on. I got my center block sitting on my cedar board that I use for shims, so I can slide it without having to dig into the damn dirt. Problem is squeezing under this new beam I just put in. All right, this is my second run. Something else that's good to have when you're doing this under the house is I use sometimes like this. I just found this in a house that I've done. It's an old skillet, but it slides along pretty good on the ground or on I got cardboard laid out today. So that's a good thing to keep your stuff together, because it's real easy to lose stuff under the house. I've got a trail of stuff that I've left behind on different houses. So, but I've got my block pushed in there. I set it on the end of my cedar board and then slid it along my cardboard down to where my other beam is in, and I can do the same thing with my block on this stuff. I don't have to have I say that it starts bunching up, but cardboard is better than plastic if you've got it for working this stuff. I don't know if now my phone's been flipping around. I don't know if it'll work or not, but yeah, always have your level, always have your tape, and anything else, you can your metal shims, whatever, and yeah. Actually, I can flip over and work back. But those big 80-pound blocks, as opposed to just manhandling them and dragging them along the dirt, you can put them on a skid. It saves you a lot of manpower there. So we're gonna get this beam up here now. That's the end of my first 10-footer coming in from through all the plumbing. That's what I spent the morning doing, was snaking through that crap. So should roll pretty smooth here. The rain came and went, didn't hit me too hard. So we'll go. Well, one of the benefits of working out in the bayou is you have trees like this that are loaded down with domestic persimmons, and you find you one that's a pretty soft one, and you give it a little squeeze, and it pops open, and it's like a jelly almost inside. Very sweet, very juicy, very invigorating. I used to see these whenever I'd be out dove hunting in Texas, and they'd be little and bitter. I'd never seen any domestic ones till I came here. But man, these things are great in the morning. People live here got too used to them, they don't like them, but if you're new to them, they're really good. So I've been eating quite a few. Well, I'm finishing up under my house. I put my last supports in today. There you can see we're dead on level, where I'd lost my 1.5 inches here on the corner going sideways, and there you can see we're dead on level front to back, and we're dead on level even on the cross sides. So I put an extra pad and a beam in this corner here just because this is the side that was really wanting to fall. That's my first 24-footer in. And then behind that one, beyond that, is my second 24-footer that runs all the way down. And I ended up adding in the back there, I don't know if you can see it, there's a pad in the middle that wasn't there. That was where two beams were spliced together that one was not supported. So that's, I'm gonna wrap a little pipe here, and I think we're gonna call that one good. So that's the job under the house. All the supports are in, nothing's sunk, and everything seems to be holding level. So there you have it. Well, I'm working on my remodel over here at Doug's. Actually, I'm right across the street from my house I remodeled last month. So picked up this job, which was good. I leveled it. Now I'm doing the paint job on it, changing out posts, putting some flashing on the top up there. Get it ready for the paint job. I had water leaking in underneath here, so I went ahead and pulled out my fascia and put some flashing underneath here to hopefully stop it. I'm doing the roof, so I went through and cleaned it, scraped it down, added about 50 screws, got it ready so it's going to be coated with aluminum coating with the fiber stuff in it. So after it's pressure washed, but that's it for the time being. Get these posts changed out here. My replacements for the front look pretty good. Got little toppers on them. Got all my stuff changed out, so I should be ready to pressure wash and start painting this weekend.